Welcome back to the VC3 News Update. First, in our local news stories, following the United States Center for Disease Control Level 3 COVID-19 travel advisory for its nationals to avoid travel to St. Vincent and the Grenadines due to serious risk to safety and security for Americans, this country's Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, said the release was hilarious.
What is laughable, though, is that the United States put out an advisory. The thing is hilarious. I mean, it's Comedy Central. Imagine the United States of America, their authorities saying, you must have an advisory to all the CARICOM countries that you must go only with essential travel. All except Haiti and Guyana and I think Suriname. That is what St. Vincent, Barbados, St. Lucia, Grenada, all these countries which are doing quite well. But in the United States, I just described what we have in St. Vincent. In the case of the United States, I was just reading something just coming on the phone here. Okay, thanks. It took 99 days to record the first million cases in the United States. It took 16 days to record their 4th million. And they're now on to 5 million. The United States of America has 4.2% of the world's population. They have 25% of all the COVID deaths in the world.
Prime Minister Gonsalves said that persons will see the advisory as a joke, as the question of the CDC's credibility will come into play.
Now, when you put out a report like the advisory, when you put out an advisory like that, any other advisory or any other report they put out, people will say, well, this is a joke. Because when you impugn your credibility with such an absurdity, you know, the whole of all, there's just over 200 countries and territories. 192 countries in the United Nations and some non-independent territories. And a country like Taiwan, which is not in the United Nations. Only 11 of them out of the 200 are in level 1 and level 2, which either you can go with normal precaution or just take a little bit more precaution. Well, if we are level 3 with our numbers, you have to get a different category for America. They must be level 5, where they don't have a level 5.
The Prime Minister further stated what amazed him was there were some persons whom he termed as crazies who questioned the good work of his government and the members of the COVID-19 task force.
As soon as they saw that, they said, look at it, level 3. You see, the United States of America put out this advisory. You see what Ralph is talking about, what Simone Keyser Beach, what Roger Duncan. Why is it that America put a level 3? If what they're telling us here in St. Vincent that we are doing well. But you don't have to ask me that. People send you university. They pay for you to go university. You mean to tell me your brain is so vacant that you can't see that what the fellas write there as an advisory? It's just bare foolishness. It doesn't mean because the United States is powerful that if they do something which doesn't make any sense, well, logical people, that as a leader of an independent country, I can't say that. No, man. I have no debt. You have 150 something thousand. Before the end of the year, America will probably reach 200,000 deaths. Of course, yeah. 330 million people, we are just 110,000. But the fact of the matter, we don't have anybody sick.
Prime Minister Dr. The Honorable Ralph Gonsalves yesterday on NBC Radio said that he is supporting the reopening of all schools on August 31st, 2020, with the recommended protocols which the Ministry of Health has put forward. On July 7th, 2020, the Ministry of Education issued a press release advising parents, guardians, and other stakeholders that all schools under the auspices of the ministry will reopen for the 2020 to 2021 academic year as follows. August 17th to 21st, 2020, Professional Development Week for all teachers, ICT in teaching and learning. And August 31st, 2020, commencement of 2020 to 2021 academic year, which runs 15 weeks. Prime Minister Gonsalves said the Chief Medical Officer Simone Keyser Beach and her team has put forward a protocol with respect to schools, and the recommendations were taken to Cabinet yesterday for discussion. The Prime Minister said when school is reopened, the wearing of masks while traveling public transportation will be highly recommended.
And when the school term opens on August the 31st, you have noticed that the Ministry of Health has already said that they're going to strongly recommend, and I spoke about that last year, that if you're in public transportation, it would be highly recommended for you to wear the mask, because we're protecting our children as they go into school and they're protecting themselves. And we build a consensus, build it, and wherever we have to take a strong hand, as we did with certain persons who want to come in from overseas and treat our regulations as though they're nothing. We had to up the ante.
Some 5,000 persons at work on a $2.5 million road cleaning program to assist with back-to-school expenses, and more money is being provided for social development for school books and uniforms. This was highlighted yesterday by Prime Minister Dr. The Honorable Ralph Gonsalves on NBC Radio. The Prime Minister also spoke about the government's material distribution program.
We have distributed $4.5 million in our annual material distribution program, and we have approved another $1 million. Might even have to do more than that, given the numbers of persons who have asked for materials. We're doing Lives to Live houses, using some of the materials for some people who have problems in walking and who have certain physical disabilities, and for some fire victims.
Prime Minister Gonsalves said that the construction of 47 houses at Lomans Bay to accommodate the relocation of persons from Rose Place, making way for the new port in Kingstown.
The housing construction at Lomans, 47 houses, are about to begin. I was just talking to Mr. Kenyatta Aline, who has HLDC, just in this last week, Friday. They have cleaned the place, they have done all the testing of the soil and so on and so forth. They have the contractors and they're ready to rumble. 47, you know. By the way, I understand the NDP in one of the, I didn't hear them, but I'm told that they had a virtual meeting. And they're telling the people, imagine that they're telling the people down on the beach that they must move. Wait until the government change, because they intend to build apartments down there for them. They don't have an idea about the plan for the port, nothing at all. So when we start building the houses over there, what are they going to do? Not continue the project over there? According to them, if they win, they're going to come People want apartments. Working people at the moment in St. Vincent want apartments in a high-rise building, or they want a separate little house.
Prime Minister Dr. The Honorable Ralph Gonsalves outlined a range of stimulus payments being made to a wide cross section of Vincentians during this time of the COVID-19.
1,800 vendors, including the school vendors, even Cartman. 3,000 plus temporary persons who get temporary unemployment benefit or displacement support income through the NIS system. Over 500 minibus, about 500 minibus operators, hundreds of taxi operators and cruise ship bus operators, 40-something of those. We are giving now, which is as a result of people calling in on this program, 2 tranches of $500 each. There are roughly 125 operators for the early childhood centers. The employees there had been getting their temporary unemployment benefit. Scores, dozens of cultural and entertainment artists benefited. 600 persons who are poor or vulnerable, mainly elderly. They get the $200 every month until the end of the year, and then they will be grandfathered or grandmothered into the public assistance system from January the 1st in the next budget. The moratorium we gave on electricity and water for the first 5 months, dating from January the 25th, because I said in my speech of December the 25th, for the bill going back 2 months and for 3 months forward. It's going to end up with a number around 1,500 sailors getting the displacement support income. In fact, over 1,200 had registered before we even started the registration process at the office of the Prime Minister. My staff sent up all the names who had showed interest to NIS. This morning, Stuart Haynes told me that 952 of them have already formally come and register online or do the face-to-face registration. I think on Monday they might be making their first payment. So those who haven't gone to formally register at the NIS, please go and do so.
And finally, on the local scene, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment has advised the general public that it is illegal for food business places, including supermarkets, to sell or provide food either on or off the food premises in a disposable plastic food service container. In a media release issued yesterday, the Ministry of Health says a person shall not distribute, sell or use disposable plastic shopping bags after August 1st, 2020. Failure to comply with the above mentioned, a person would have committed an offense and liable on summary conviction of a fine of $5,000 and to a further fine of $500 each day during which the offense continues. The environmental health officers will be visiting food businesses to ensure compliance. And that's our local news update. Up next, regionally, the final wishes of former Prime Minister Owen Arthur caused some disappointment among the hundreds of people who went to pay their respects yesterday.